Laysan is a very small island in northwest Hawaii, barely a mile long. But it's home, or it was home, to so many interesting animals. Birds, millipedes, moths, ducks, and of course the mysterious Laysan Fan Palm. Before we get on to the fan palm, I want to share some backstory of a man called Max Schlemmer, a German man who called himself King of Laysan. And he unfortunately, in the 1800s, released hundreds and even thousands of rabbits that devastated the population and killed so many species that I'm going to talk about later. And you might ask, why on earth did he do this? Greed. He wanted these rabbits to breed and multiply, whilst obviously devastating the natural plants and animals on the island. And he wanted them to multiply so he could have a canned rabbit meat business, which is very dreadful. The Laysan miller bird once existed in the thousands on the island, which is incredible for such a small island, but unfortunately that went extinct in the late 1910s or early 20s. The Laysan rail also went extinct in 1923, when there were said to be only 2 birds left, although it was spotted in June 1944 on another nearby Hawaiian island, but never since. Laysan Fan Palm was the only palm that was found on Laysan Island, and although it has been suggested to be the Nihoa fan palm, which grew on neighbouring islands in the region, it's never been definitively proven to be that. In fact, experts who examined both of the palms individually said that they were quite dissimilar and definitely different species. So what was this lost palm? Well, apparently there are 4 existing photos of it, although until recently only one was available, but I managed to find a second one. Yay! The first historical sighting of the Laysan Fan Palm was in 1828, when a man called Karl Isenbeck, who was a Russian surgeon on a ship, noted it. But by 1859, only 5 fully mature Laysan Fan Palms were said to remain. For such a small island, it has such an amazing history. There were Japanese immigrants who worked on there and were mistreated by the King of Laysan, Max Schlemmer, who we don't like. And in 1991 there was a mysterious virus called Laysan fever that affected some of the people who were still working on there. Nowadays you can indeed travel to the island and it's very beautiful, and they're trying to reintroduce more animals, which I think is amazing. But unfortunately no sign of the Laysan Fan Palm will ever be seen on the island again. German zoologist Hugo Hermann in 1896 said that there's no fan palms remaining. Evidently human activity was at least partly to blame, as well as obviously the huge amount of rabbits which were released by the very disliked King of Laysan, and numerous stumps indicated a very large population which just had disappeared only in the previous decades. The last sign of these palms was noted in 1914, and they were said to be decaying remains. The palms were said to reach about 15 feet, which is very tall, with stumps up to 50 centimetres in diameter. The Laysan Fan Palm's iconic feature was categorised by its very large fan-shaped leaves, and you can't tell from the black and white images, but it was very colourful. There are no physical specimens remaining, which is a huge shame, because even in 1914 there were still remains that could have been preserved. Whether the Laysan Fan Palm was indeed the Nihoa Fan Palm is a mystery that will unfortunately remain unsolved. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and if you enjoyed, please subscribe and like, and my patron's in the bio. And I actually got my first patron, which is really exciting. So if anyone else wants to join them, please feel free. But yes, thanks once again, and I'll see you all in the next episode.